In this video, I want to go over my exact plan on how I become a world-class marketer. The reason that I'm making this video is because I think a lot of my audience are on the same path where they either know how to program and know how to build products, but are unsure of how to get better at marketing. Hopefully this video kind of lays out my thought process of how to become world-class at anything, but more specifically, like how do you do it for marketing or sales or any of these non-building related topics. Let's get started. To give some background, I started programming when I was 17, and I'm not saying I'm world class at programming, but I would say that I'm pretty good and able to get any big tech job. I've applied the same framework of how to learn and master and become world class at something. So I'll like go through the entire framework, then I'll go into like very specifics of actual advice. The first step is to find the best person or best company at that skill that you're trying to master. And there's generally two categories. The first one is just a general world-class expert, and then the other one is a niche world-class expert. So that's the first step, which is just basically find the best person at that skill. The second step is to identify the gaps between your current state and your desired state. So in this case, the desired state would just be like becoming world-class at something. Then the third step is to shorten the gap of the current state and the desired state with the help of a community or consultants. And I forgot to mention, the first step is having the belief system that you can become world class and having the right desire or the right motivation to become world class. So I'll probably make a separate video on that, but I think belief and why do you even want to become world class at something, I think that part is as important or more important, but I'll leave that for a different video. But just basically belief and motivation. So I'm going to go into all three of these steps and explain each one. I'm going to give real examples. So for the first one, it's to find people that are general world class and niche world class. I made this sheet of profitable business ideas that you can start over a weekend. So it's a list of manually curated ideas that are not only profitable and validated, but also ideas that are low maintenance and stuff that you can start with no money. I'm going to be updating this sheet every month. All you need to do is just go to the first link in the video, put in your email, and then you should get access to this sheet. Here are some of the skills that I'm trying to get better at in terms of marketing. YouTube, copywriting, SEO, and design. They all follow the same framework. First, finding the best person at that thing. So for YouTube, the obvious one is Mr. Beast, who's like the general world class. So basically whoever is the best, regardless of any niche. So for YouTube, it's Mr. Beast. And then for niche world class, it's My First Million. This is a YouTube channel focused on business related podcasting. I thought they were pretty good for YouTube, specifically for the business and tech niche. For each skill that you want to become world class at, you would just find several of these examples. For copywriting, the person that I found to be the best at copywriting is this guy called Gary Halbert. So he was like this copywriter back in the 1900s, and I think he sold the most amount of products through his copywriting. Part of finding the best person is not just that they're the most famous. Oftentimes, I think if they're famous and have a lot of like followers, it's a counter signal that they might not actually be the best at that skill. The metric that I use to find the best copywriter is how much money did they generate from their actual writing. For each skill, the metric of how you actually find the best person will differ. So for YouTube, it's obvious, which is like who has the most followers, who has the most views. And for copywriting, it's who sold the most products. And then for SEO, this one was a bit hard, but like the one that I found, this probably isn't the best answer, but these are some good examples, which is basically Etsy. So Etsy, I think is currently valued at $6 billion, and they mostly grew through SEO. Even if they're a company, I think it's fine because you can still learn a lot from companies. And then for the niche world class, which is for tech or for business, I put Zapier. I think Zapier grew most of their revenue through SEO as well. So that's why I put these two. And then for design, I couldn't find a niche world class expert. For general, I just put Instagram because they're pretty good at design. And I think a lot of people look up and respect the Instagram design team. So that's the first step, which is to find the best at those skills. And then step two, which is coming up with the gaps between the current state and the desired state. For each one, I'm personally just going through and like evaluating what am I lacking in terms of skills to become world class. For YouTube, it might be titles, right? Maybe I don't write the best titles for my YouTube videos, so that's a gap. Another gap might be like video ideas, script writing, storytelling, editing. So like all of these different sub skills, I think it's important to just note because these are going to be the skills you need to focus on to get better at. You would just do that for every skill. For copywriting, I would just find gaps. So maybe I'm not the best headline writer, or be able to write in a way that conveys social proof. So it's just like for each skill, there's going to be like different ways of like finding the gaps. So yeah, that's the step 2. And then I forgot the most important step, which is finding repeatable actions to improve the gaps. So basically this means like, how do you construct a system where you're constantly working on that subset of a skill to improve? Let me give a real example. So for YouTube, one of the actions will be recording 100 videos. And because I know that my gaps are with titles and video editing, I would try to improve those aspects in every video. For copywriting, maybe I would write one sales letter every day with the goal of improving my storytelling and my headlines. And then for design, right? So maybe I'll design one new landing page every day. And if my gap is picking colors that match with the brand, I would focus on that every day. I would make note of how fast I'm improving and how I'm improving. One way you can do this is I have this Google sheet I use to track my YouTube growth. Basically, you just write down the improvements. Here are all the improvements, and then you can also write the data related to each action. So that's step 3. And then the last step, which is to make the feedback loop faster with the help of consultants and a group of people that are also on the same path. If you have people that are also like trying to improve at something, and people that are already world class, they can help you find gaps that you may have missed in step 2. Plus, they'll give you critical feedback on how you can improve faster. So let me give a exact example. So for design, like last year, I spent a lot of time improving my design skills. And one of the ways that I try to like make it go faster is like I hire someone off of Upwork to find issues with the design work that I did. So basically for 60 days, I would design one new landing page, and then I would go on Upwork and I would find someone that was a designer. I would tell them to grade my designs and tell me what I need to improve. Oftentimes, when you're trying to improve that skill, it's very hard to see beyond the forest and understand what you need to get better at. So I think having someone that's already gone through the entire process and then having them tell you exactly what to improve on, I think that is a huge unlock. And I think with a group of people on the same path, it helps with motivation, because it's very hard and easy to give up when you don't see any results. That's why I think these 2 things are very important. Let me go over my last example with SEO. So basically with SEO, I want to improve, like, how do I become better at SEO? Part of that is joining a group of people that are also growing their businesses with SEO. We can share notes and whatever. Find people on LinkedIn that work at Etsy, that work at Zapier, that work in the marketing group, and then ask them directly on LinkedIn for advice, or just pay for the time. I think like finding someone that's already two or 3 steps further and then paying them for their time and advice is, I think, a super high ROI. So yeah, these are the 4 things. Hopefully this is useful.